Representation of an ant. It's obviously not real. So ants can never exceed a certain size because of they breathe through spirochetes. Now spirochetes are microscopic openings that run alongside the ant itself. Now inside the ant there's air sacs, and as it breathes inside, as its abdomen rises and contracts, it acts like a bellows to bring the air in. It's a very primitive system. That's what limits the size of ants. They can't get too big because they breathe through spirochetes, and the way that they're set up, it's on a internal-external bellows system. And the bigger their body gets, the less air can get to the center of it. So once they get to a certain mass, they can't get bigger than that. Now, if you look in imprints in mud and fossils, you see that there are giant versions of insects. There's a dragonfly with a 46-inch wingspan. Looks just like the dragonfly now, hasn't changed, except it's a lot bigger. Now, how can that be from what I just said? Well, if you look in the rocks, sedimentary rocks, there was a time when the oxygen content was higher than it was now. Much higher. So with a higher air pressure, it could go into the spirochetes, which run laterally along the sides of the insects, and it also could fly in that higher air pressure. You know, they'll tell you that the pterodactyls, which technically are the way they classify things, are actually reptiles, not dinosaurs, but their classifications, however you want to say it, that they had to climb up to cliffs and glide off of it. Well, if the air pressure was about 20% more, which it looks like it was, according to the fossil record, they could fly easily off the ground. Also, for those of you that may remember, Baby Faye fell in this hole back in the early 90s, and she was trapped in a real small hole, and basically she was doing the splits, and they had to, it was a big nationwide thing, they had to dig her out. And excuse me, it was baby Jessica, or they called her baby Jessica. She was like 5 or 6. Well, anyway, she was doing the splits inside this pipe that she slid in, and when they brought her out, they said, well, we're gonna have to take her leg off because it's all blackened. Well, they decided to fly her to a barometric chamber, and they ended up saving the leg. She ended up losing a toe, one toe to it. So if you were to live barometric, if you sleep in a barometric chamber, I've done it before, you feel like Superman the next day. Michael Jackson was doing it. You can buy actually barometric sleeping bags. Are about $2,000, and if you got the cash, I'd do it. They got a little viewing porthole so you can see what's going on around you. Single person, but they put them in burn victims. When you're in 2 atmospheric pressures of oxygen, not only will your blood get super saturated with oxygen, but also your plasma. The plasma is basically the aquarium all your cells live in. And that's why insects can't get much bigger than they are now, and that's why they were bigger in the past. The past was different. The ancient world before the flood had more air, more CO2, and just more pressure. And it allowed larger insects, and it allowed the dinosaurs to fly. Thank you. I'm out.